Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Frank Spillers with Rural Community Solutions. And at Rural Community Solutions, we help you design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people. Now, what can the place be? It can be a community, it can be a business, it can be your church, an organization, it can be your school, but it is a place that attracts people. Now, today we're going to be talking about employment issues. Many states have, said they're ready to open up. They're ready to accept workers back, and they are in demand of workers. And so there's many states that are thinking about forcing workers back to work by taking away some benefits. And so let me explain. This is going to be, I'm going to try and dissect this. So stay with me all the way through this, if you will. And then let's have a conversation if this helps your business, if this helps your community to attract a workforce. Think about this. Prior to the pandemic, we were going through a workforce crisis in a lot of our communities. Businesses were trying to find workers. You were struggling to find workers. The workers could not pass a drug test. And so how do we attract that workforce? And this is not a pandemic issue. This was prior to the pandemic, where we had a very, very low unemployment rate in this country. And there were a lot of businesses that were struggling for a workforce. So this is nothing new. It's not pandemic caused, and it is not going to be resolved by taking away benefits. Right? That's only going to exacerbate the issue. It's going to have unforeseen consequences. What we say, you try to solve one issue, but another one comes up. So stay with me through this, and let's explain, and let me help you create that environment that is going to attract a workforce. It's going to benefit you as a business, you as a community, but it's going to benefit the individual also, the individual that wants to work because they want to feel of value. That's a human characteristic. They want to feel wanted. They want to feel needed. They want to feel like their skills are being used to the ultimate way. Now, how do we do that at Rural Community Solutions? And these are our 4 pillars that support the notions that I'm going to be talking about today. It's relationships, it's engagement, it's entrepreneurs, and it's collaboration. Now, each of those pillars, if you will redefine what we call welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate. How do we create that environment to where people feel welcome, they feel understood, they feel that in comfort, that their passions and their purpose is being utilized, and they know where they're going in the future. And then they feel appreciated where they're at. And so as we use those purposes, here's what the world of work wants. So if you're a business, if you're a manager, if you are in that place that is looking for workers, right? You're looking for workers. Here's really what you want. You want positive work habits. In other words, you want people that have the ability to perform tasks assigned and see through to completion. You want them to look at the task and follow it through to the end, to do what is required of them, to do what you wish they would, to do what you want them to do. Also, you want them to show up. You want them to show up all the time. You want them to show up every day on time, ready, willing, and able to work on time. That's what the world of work wants. Now, here is what everybody wants and needs. And I'm just going to use this Maslow's hierarchy of need triangle that we have all seen in school and we have studied. But now let's think about it when we are trying to attract that workforce. And I'm going to help you to work with your company, help you to work with your community on how do you create that environment? How do you dissect and how do you look at your company? How do you look at your community that will attract that worker that you want? Right? So the first and foundational most is that people need that food, water, they need shelter. So that is what they're after with with their occupation. They need to know they're going to be paid. They can afford their rent or their house payment. They can buy food and they can buy necessities for their family. They need that, right? And then also, they need safety. They need to know that their job is secured. And so there's a lot of people out there that don't feel safe, one, going back to work. They don't feel safe that their job's going to be secure. They don't feel safe that their family's going to be protected. And they don't feel safe that their health is going to be protected. So when you look at the hierarchy of needs, you have housing, food, and shelter as your basis. Then you have the health and safety of your family and of your property. Those two are the utmost. Those two are in the back of the mind, maybe the forward of the mind of the worker that is trying to get back to work, because they do want to go to work. They do want to go to work. Contrary to popular belief, people want to work. They want to feel of value. They want to feel like their life matters and they are contributing to the world. And so then you get up into love and belonging. And this is where your business comes into play in creating that environment, creating that workforce environment to where people feel like they belong and they are being used in the best in their talents and where they can see a future for them to grow. So the next two levels are love and belonging and their esteem. Now, you might not think self-esteem is very important for you as a business to help a worker, but let me tell you, that is where the worker is trying to better themselves. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel like they are contributing and to move forward. So if you're not understanding this type of psychological well-being, then you are missing the boat in attracting your workforce. So I want you to think about that. Housing, food, shelter as a basis, safety, health of the family, and that their family's being taken care of. As we talk about this, think about this and keep that in your mind, that their family's being taken care of. And love and belonging, that they are being used and their talents are being used in the best possible way that matches their purpose and their passion. And they see a clear vision for them in the future, and they see a path to get to where they want to go. Because people are using today to get to where they want to go. Think about where you want to go. Do you want your life to be better? So as you are sitting here thinking about what you want, do you know what you want and how to get there? And what type of job do you have that is getting you from where you are to where you want to go? If that job is not getting you to where you want to go, you're going to be starting to look for another job or another occupation, another opportunity to get you from here to there. That might be owning your own business. That might be having a sideline business. That might be doing something whole different than what you're doing right now, because you are actually working on these levels in Maslow's hierarchy of needs to move you forward. Okay, so let's keep those in mind as we move through this. So we all know that the worker, the workforce, the business, they want positive work habits, and they want a great work ethic. They want a worker that's going to show up on time and do what needs to be done. All right. The worker or the business also wants a worker the ability to work in a team. So get along with others and work together with others, because you don't want a lot of drama at work. You don't want people that are coming and causing controversy. You don't want them to come cause negativity, excuse me, in your workplace. You want them to be able to make decisions and solve problems on their own. You don't want them to have to come to the manager. You don't want to have to come to somebody else and asking them questions all the time. You want them to also be able to plan, organize, and prioritize their workforce and their work-related skill set, the ability to communicate and verbally with people in and outside of the organization. That's really important. How can they communicate? And you want a worker also that will be able to obtain and process information, because you have certain ways that you want to have things done. Now, this goes from a large corporation of Google and the white collar workforce all the way over to maybe restaurant work or in construction work. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying which level. I'm saying is just different silos of opportunities. Every business, every occupation wants this type of a worker. Ability to work in a team, make decisions and solve problems, plan, organize, and prioritize work, communicate greatly in and outside of the organization, and obtain and process information directly. Now, that's on the business side of it. That's what the business wants. But the business wants a worker. So what does the workforce want now? Here's what a worker wants. And we are looking at post-pandemic people, right? Because it is starting to change. We are, in this country, think about this. We are having people retire from positions at a higher rate than any other time in this country. So we're up against people that are retiring from their jobs that have held them for a long, long time, because in that generation, the older generation, they didn't job jump a lot. They didn't switch jobs a lot. We are entering a new generation of a workforce. And if you don't understand that, if you don't start to adapt to it, then you are missing your opportunity. No longer can we go back to where you want to be, all right, or where you started. You can't go back to hiring those workers that you were trying to get after before the pandemic hit. You have to start changing your culture. You have to start changing your hiring habits. You have to start changing how you hire people and the worker you want. Because here's what workers want. They want, upmost, a work-life balance. All right? They don't want to work 24 hours a day and not have a home life. They want to find that balance. So people have been having that opportunity to work from home and do their job and do family stuff. And here's what companies are starting to find. They are very productive when they do that. Okay. So they're looking for family as their desire for flexible work. So do you offer them a flexible work schedule? The worker is also looking to save more time. So commuting patterns, they want to save time commuting. So if they do drive an hour to work, they're looking for how to reduce that commuter stress, or telework for a portion of the time. You know, and some are looking for 100% telework, but they're also looking for flexible or alternative work schedules. So it's important when you're trying to hire that worker You need to know what that worker wants. And what also workers want, and this is important, go back to be thinking about Maslow's. Go back to be thinking about that triangle. They want purpose. They want goals. They want responsibility. They want autonomy. In other words, how can they work on their own? They don't like micromanagers. They want flexibility. They want to feel appreciated. You're not giving them a job. You are giving them an opportunity for them to obtain their goals, for them to obtain their dreams. Why do you work? When you're hiring somebody, ask yourself, why do you work? What is that paycheck helping you to obtain? Okay, so they want the opportunity for innovation, open-mindedness, transparency, compensation. Of course, they want money because that's their basic need. They want to make secure and in their environment that their family's taken care of, their housing's taken care of, they can meet their needs, and maybe even having a little leftover that they can have some fun. So the world of work is really complicated, but the worker wants to show their ability and their value to you. That's what a worker wants. So in your management style, are you a hard-nosed manager of do this and get this done? Or are you a coaching type of manager that helps a worker figure out how to get down along the way? So that is what a worker wants and what a business wants. Now, let me get down to a little bit more down the funnel of targeting certain aspects of creating a family-friendly, youth-centered place for people to work. Remember this, family-friendly, youth-centered. So if you're family-friendly, what are you focused on? The family. What makes up a family? You will have a parent and you will have kids. So the worker is the parent. What happens to the kids? Why do you forget about the kids? Why do you think it's important for you to attract a workforce, but you're not thinking about what happens to the kids? You're not family friendly. You are self-centered. If you are a business that doesn't worry about the kids, and I'm not meaning, yeah, you can take an hour off to go to the kids' assembly. You can take an hour off, or you can quit early to go to a kid's soccer practice. That is flexible and admirable, but that is not holistic family friendly. So if you are family friendly, I'm getting worked up now. If you are family friendly, this is what you need to do. You need to worry about who's taking care of the kids during the time your parents are working for you. If you are a business, if you are a workforce, that needs to be the utmost at who's watching the kids. What's happening to the kids? Who's taking care of them so the parent can focus on their job and not worry about who's taking care of the kids. Excuse me, a little dry throat. So here's some statistics from the Early Care and Learning Council that we want to work. And I'm an economic developer. I have been working with early care and education providers since 1996, training them, helping them get into business, helping communities adapt centers, helping communities fund centers, helping family care businesses start training them on the aspects of how to create environments where kids grow up positively. So here's some statistics that I want to help share. Now, in economic development, in my version of economic development, how I work with communities, early care and education, child care, because that's the term that you're hearing these days. Child care is not soft infrastructure. Child care is critical infrastructure for your community. Child care is critical infrastructure for your business. And I'll tell you why. Because if you don't have child care as an infrastructure, you don't have a workforce. You don't have a workforce. Because if a parent that has kids that are not school age yet can't send them to school, or there's nobody to watch them over the summertime or when school's out, that parent cannot work for you. It's as simple as that. Okay, so the effect of childcare on the workforce is this. The average American working parent misses 9 days of work per year because of childcare issues. 29% of employed parents experience childcare breakdowns, absenteeism, tardiness, and reduced concentration at work. Reduced concentration at work. So if you're worried about your workers' comp rate, then maybe your parent is not focused on work, and your parent is focused on who's taking care of my child. Also, AT&T a while ago did this study. They interviewed 57% female, 33% of the male staff with children under 6, and found that 57% of the females and 33% of the males workforce, all right, with children under 6, lost time from work the preceding month from childcare issues. So 57% of the females, but also 33% of the males. This is not a female-male type of issue, all right? It's a family issue. Also, 45 from the Early Care and Learning Council, 45% of working parents miss at least 1 day of work every 6 months because of the breakdown of childcare. That averages 4.3 days in a 6 months time frame. So do you have that capability to replace that workforce for that many days missed? 63% of employees surveyed in 2000 by the American Business Collaboration reported improved productivity associated with quality dependent care. Improved productivity. What would you give for 63% of your employees to improve their productivity? What would that do for your business? Also, the Early Care and Learning Council found that 65% of parents are late to work or leave work early because of childcare issues. That averages 7.5 times in a 6-month time frame. That could be the child gets sick and can't stay at childcare. That means the child gets hurt and can't stay at childcare. That means that the provider might be sick, can't stay at childcare. That means that maybe that school child doesn't have an after school or before school program, childcare program to go to, or your company doesn't care. And so the worker has to leave work early to make sure their child is taken care of. Also, employers surveyed, they report that childcare services decrease employee absence by 20 to 30% and reduce turnover by 37 to 60%. So when a business gets involved as a child care benefit, your workforce increases. You have the ability to decrease employee absenteeism, and reduce your turnover rate. So look at your turnover rate. If you have a high turnover rate, why? If you're trying to attract those workers, that's it. All right, so here's some more savings. You know, this is so interesting, and businesses really need to be taken care of and being paid attention to this. I know this is long, but hang with me here. An average business with 250 employees can save $75,000 per year in lost work time by subsidizing for employees' sick children, just their sick children. So do you work with your hospital on employee sick care? Do you work with your hospital on child sick care? All right. Also, here's an economic issue for the economy. U.S. companies lose $3 billion annually in the consequences of child care related absences. $3 billion you're losing because of the consequences of child care related absences. And 85% of employers report providing child care services improve employee recruitment. 85% of your employers improve child care services, by providing child care services, it improves employee recruiting. So if you're trying to recruit a workforce, think about providing child care. What will it do? 49%. It boosts productivity. If you are a community that is trying to recruit workers for your businesses, for every dollar invested in high quality early care and education, communities save between $4 and $17 in future costs of remedial and special education in juvenile crime systems and welfare support. Now, if you're looking to reduce juvenile crime, if you're looking to reduce the welfare system, if you're looking to reduce educational services, special educational services, you have to invest in the early years. And when the early years, I'm talking about 0 to 6, because that's where 90% of a child's brain is developed. They are developing and learning who they are in the first 6 years. Those synapses and the neurons are connecting at a rate of 700 per second for the first 3 years of their life. That's where they are just flowering. That's where they're looking. That's where they're learning. That's where they're seeing their environment. That's what they're becoming as a human being. That's who they will be. The economy is fundamentally about people. It's not about workers. It's not about what a worker can do for your company. It is about what your company can do for the workforce you are attracting. In early care and education, a child will be with a provider longer, more often than not, longer than they are with their parent in their waking hours. And so as we provide quality early care and education, it's important for the business sector to be involved with the workforce. If we are to attract a quality workforce, we need to provide quality early care and education for our workforce. And that is critical infrastructure. So if you're looking to solve your help wanted issues, if you're looking to take down those help wanted signs, investigate what a worker wants first. You want a worker What does that worker want? What does that family need? How will that family's issue be solved by taking the position that you are offering them? It's a two-way street, not a one-way street. It's the economy. And the economy is fundamentally about people. How are you treating people? What is the environment like that a person's going to spend a lot of time with you and provide a service for your customers in the environment that you set for them? That's truly what this issue is about. It's not we're taking away and forcing people to work. It is, how are we attracting that workforce? You can't push a workforce. You need to attract the workforce. It's a different way of looking at it. So I'm Frank Spillers with Rural Community Solutions, and I'd love to have more of a conversation with you of how you're thinking about this process, how you're thinking about what was said here. And we can have that deep conversation because I've been working with this for a long, long time with communities and with businesses. And so as we provide a new environment for a workforce and a new environment for our communities that want to grow and we want to move forward, we don't want to go back to where we were, but we want to move forward. Let's do something different, because doing the same things in the same way is getting the same results, And we are getting the results right now that we had prior to the pandemic. Low unemployment, and businesses are wanting workers. Let's change the approach. Let's change our approach on how we address a workforce, how we attract a workforce instead of pushing a workforce. So I'm Frank Spillers. This has been Rural Community Solutions, and we have more than 200 videos on our YouTube site at Rural Community Solutions TV. You can come and talk to me on Facebook at Frank Spillers or at Rural Community Solutions Facebook page. Or you can listen to us at Think Like an Entrepreneur, Become a Spark Plug on our podcast at anchor.fm/Frank Spillers. So until tomorrow, let's think about the workforce. Let's think about people. Let's think about the environment that people live, work, and play in to attract the people that we want. We'll see you later. Have a great day.